Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I want to talk about a couple things. I have addressed part of what I'm going to talk about in previous videos, but I haven't talked about it in a couple of my recent videos, and I just feel like that's wrong of me to do that, because I do want to continue to educate myself, educate you guys, and just keep everyone informed and aware of what is going on. The first thing I want to talk about is the Black Lives Matter movement, or it has to do with the Black Lives Matter movement. The first thing I want to talk about in relation to that is George Floyd. I don't know if everyone knows this, but the cops who were charged and arrested for the murder of George Floyd were released on bail, and I believe that is completely ridiculous. I don't know if there's any petitions or things that we can sign that can put them back in jail. But I did see a video of one of the cops out in Walmart shopping for Oreos and milk, and I think that's absolutely absurd because they are literally a threat to society and a danger to society. They killed a man and they're out on bail. That just doesn't add up in my brain. I don't know how that happened, but it's absolutely ridiculous. The second thing I wanted to talk about in relation to Black Lives Matter is Elijah McClain. If you are on social media, there's been a lot of awareness spread onto Elijah McClain. He was killed last year in August. He was not a threat or danger to society. He was an innocent man who was killed by police and first responders. They both had a part in killing him, and the 911 call was made. The person who made the 911 call said that he was not dangerous. He didn't seem like a threat. He was anemic, so when it's cold outside he was wearing ski masks, and he used to do that very often. So it wasn't like an irregular thing that he was doing, and he wasn't doing anything wrong. He just went to the store to get something and he was going to walk home. God only knows why these cops came and put him in a chokehold. I cannot imagine the fear that he was going through, and it's just sickening to just read about it. It breaks my heart. And then when the first responders came, they gave him a very high dosage of ketamine, more than what he should have been given for his weight and his size, and they did that to sedate him, and that killed him. He was brain dead in the hospital 3 days later. And I just saw a video that in the city where he was from, they were holding a candlelight vigil, playing the violin in memory of him, because he was murdered. He was an innocent man and he was killed. And police showed up. The police were wearing their full gear that they wear to the riots, full bulletproof bodysuit, whatever. They were wearing all that, and it was not just like one or two cops. It was a whole army of cops. And that's ridiculous because, first of all, he was murdered. Second of all, the cops who killed him and the first responders who were part of that never were arrested, still have not been arrested. Then also, it was a peaceful vigil for to just commemorate him, and in his memory there was no need for so many police in full gear to come. Nothing was going on illegally. It was not a riot. It was not a protest. That's ridiculous to me. That is actually disgusting, and I cannot believe this is how things are going on in our country. I mean, I just have no words because it makes me so sad, and I wanted to make this clip short and concise, but that's an injustice for me to do when I'm talking about issues like this, because I just feel like there's so much to say, and there's so many things that are going on not only in our country, in our world, which is what I'm going to get to, but what is going on with Elijah McClain and that whole thing at the vigil. It's just absurd to me because it was peaceful. It was not a protest. It was not a riot. It was nothing violent. Protests, first of all, most of them are not violent at all, but it wasn't anything violent at all. It was literally people playing the violin commemorating Elijah McClain's life. I just don't understand how these people's brains work, that they think that's whatever. How could you think that's violent? I just do not understand. So that if I can get the video, if I can screen record it, I will put it up here. If you don't have social media, if you don't have Instagram, Twitter, and you haven't seen this video, it's disgusting to see that happen.
No, 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 no. 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 Oh my God. No, 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 no. 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 No, no. Oh shit! You fucking
The next thing I wanted to talk about is the humanitarian crisis that's going on in Yemen. There's not been a lot of news coverage on that, and it's very wrong to not cover that on the news because it's a really big thing that's going on, and it's an injustice to the people of Yemen. People are starving to death, and they need our help. So I've had these links in my description for a couple videos now, but I really haven't talked about it as much as I should be, and I feel like that is wrong. So talking about it now, letting you know all those links to help the Yemen humanitarian crisis, to support Black Lives Matter, to donate for Yemen, the Yemen crisis, and to Black Lives Matter movements, just petitions to sign for the Black Lives Matter movement, and just to make the world a better place by, you know, starting with these issues. This is like a 6-minute clip, but I don't even care because these are important things to talk about. One thing I wanted to read, I saw this on Instagram just now, and I wanted to read it because I feel like there's a million things going on in our world, and it's scary, but how do I see what I liked? Give me a minute. Okay, so I saw this post. I'll throw the picture, but I just want to read it off my phone. This post says, "It might not be trending, but Black lives still matter. There's still an apartheid in Palestine. Yemen is still starving. Syrian children still have PTSD from the Syrian war and the crisis going on in Syria. There's still people they're still selling people into slavery in Libya. Kashmiris are still on lockdown. Afghans are still being persecuted. Malians are still malnourished. Venezuelans are still fleeing the country because Venezuela is having a really terrible political situation that's been going on for a long time, and it's still going on, which is really sad. Lebanese are still being robbed of their future. Iraqis are still in a state of fear. Ethiopians are still dying from hunger. Central America children are still in cages. If you haven't heard about this, people immigrating into the United States, I saw pictures and I was honestly, I had no words because it was just so, there's not a word to express the amount of sadness and the amount of anger I feel. There's a lot of words in the dictionary, but I can't find a word to express that, what I feel when I see those images. I mean, these kids separated from their families, and these are people trying to come into the United States. I believe they're being detained by ICE, and they're literally locked in cages. They are not getting the proper care. They're separated from their families, and there's a lot of issues going on in our country right now, and so we forget about some of these things that are not covered on Instagram or Twitter all the time, not covered on the news, like, at all. But we still have to remember that these are still going on. Native Americans are still dehumanized, and our world leaders are still greedy. That post just talks about a lot of issues. I mean, it's just scary to think about that this is the world that we're living in. I want to end this by just saying how important it is for you guys to vote. Please, if you are of age, register to vote. Don't be the person who fills in the empty slot on the ballot. Don't be the person who doesn't register to vote because you're like, I'm too cool, I'm too cool for this, I'm too lazy. It's not cool not to vote. It's not cool to not vote. That is, you are not helping your country. You're not helping the future generations. You're not helping the people who are suffering right now. I never talk about politics on this channel. I'm not someone who, if you know me, you know I really don't talk about these things, not because I don't know, sometimes I just feel like it's an uncomfortable topic to talk about, but I feel like that is what I'm learning during this time and educating myself on, is that I don't give a f it's uncomfortable. I need to talk about this. I need to talk about this. These are important issues, and they're not gonna just go away with a snap of my finger. I am going to be turning 18 in September, and I need to use my voice, use whatever platform I have, use my right to vote. Women were given the right to vote, and I feel like, and not just women, everyone has the right to vote. If you're of age, please just go to the ballot and just vote. Watch the news. Watch what your leaders are doing. Watch what the President of the United States is doing. I mean, I don't want to get political on this channel, but you know, you have to educate yourself, not on matters just like BLM or the Yemen Humanitarian Crisis or things going on globally. You need to educate yourself on the people who are leading your city, your state, the people who are the judges in your state, you know, the people who are leading your country, the people who are in the House of Representatives, the people who are in Congress, or sorry, the people who are in the House of Representatives, the people who are in the Senate from your state. You need to know who these people are, what they stand for, and if you support them or not, and you have to vote. It's so important. I know this clip is really long, and I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not, because these are important issues to talk about, and I'm not going to just shut up about it. I know a lot of people who watch this channel are my family, my friends, and it may be an uncomfortable topic to talk about, but we have to do better. We need to do better for not only ourselves and the world right now, but the world that's going to be there in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 2 years from now. We need to make a change. And I'm not saying voting is the only way. Voting is one of the ways. You need to have these conversations with your family. Talk to your friends about it. I know, like, for me, I used to think that this is uncomfortable stuff to talk about, but me and my friends talk about it now. We are trying to learn from each other, teach each other, learn by watching movies, watching documentaries, reading books, reading articles from reliable sources. And, you know, just please, you have a responsibility. And, you know, just use your power. Everyone has a platform, even if you don't think you do. Your platform might not be like the internet, but it could be the people that you surround yourself with, your family, your friends. That's your platform. So use them. Educate them if they aren't educated about this stuff. So I wanted to talk about that. And this is the second time I'm filming this. Actually, probably the 5th time I'm filming this, but I needed to say this, and I needed to talk about it, because if I didn't, it would just be wrong. That's all I have to say for now. I'm sure I'll have a lot more to say in coming weeks, next week, my next video. I know my channel is more of a fun and friendly place, and I want people to feel like they don't have to worry about stuff when they're watching my videos. Like, I just want it to be happy and exciting, but our world is not always happy and exciting, and that's the scary part. And I feel like we have to talk about the scary stuff too, not just the positive and fun. And we can still be happy in our lives, right? We don't have to be sad, but we still have to talk about the scary things. See you guys in my next video.